Niccolo Machiavelli's The Prince is a fascinating yet deeply unsettling exploration of power in politics. Written during the turbulence of Renaissance Italy, it remains one of the most influential and controversial works in the history of political thought. Machiavelli's insights have shaped the practice of realpolitik, a strategy focused on pragmatism, power, and survival over morality or justice. While many hail him as a realist who exposed the harsh truths of governance, others critique him as laying the groundwork for political systems where power is pursued for its own sake, often at the expense of the common good. Machiavelli, a diplomat and political theorist, penned The Prince in 1513 after losing his position when the Medici family regained control of Florence. His goal was to regain favor with the Medici rulers by offering a blueprint for maintaining and consolidating power. However, his advice was unapologetically pragmatic, often advocating for actions that would be considered ruthless or immoral. He argued that a ruler must be prepared to use deception, manipulation, and even cruelty if these measures ensure the stability of their rule. One of the central ideas in The Prince is that morality and politics operate in separate realms. Machiavelli contends that a ruler must not be constrained by ethical considerations when they conflict with the necessities of power. For instance, he famously wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." This stark pragmatism reflects his belief that fear is a more reliable tool for control, as love is fickle and can be easily lost. His concept of virtue is equally revealing. Unlike the classical understanding of virtue as moral excellence, Machiavelli's virtue refers to a ruler's ability to adapt, seize opportunities, and assert their will in the face of unpredictable circumstances or fortuna. Fortune, he argued, favors those who are bold and capable of shaping their own destiny, even if it requires morally ambiguous actions. While Machiavelli's observations were rooted in the fractured politics of Renaissance Italy, the strategies he outlined resonate disturbingly in modern systems of governance. Realpolitik, which prioritizes power and practicality over ideology, remains a dominant force in political decision-making. Leaders craft public personas of virtue while privately engaging in strategic alliances, manipulation, and even subterfuge. This dynamic plays out on the world stage as well, where nations act in their self-interest, often disregarding ethical concerns in the pursuit of power. Yet the legacy of The Prince is deeply troubling. By advocating for power as an end in itself, Machiavelli implicitly endorses a system where rulers prioritize their own interests over the welfare of their people. When taken to its logical conclusion, this approach risks devolving into authoritarianism or totalitarianism, where leaders justify any action, no matter how cruel or exploitative, under the guise of maintaining order and stability. This raises a critical question. How do we prevent power from being wielded solely for personal or political gain? How can we design systems of governance that prioritize the common good over the ambitions of those in power? History suggests that the answer lies in creating structures that diffuse power, enforce accountability, and promote transparency. Checks and balances, independent institutions, and a free press are all essential mechanisms to ensure that power serves the people, rather than the other way around. Machiavelli's The Prince remains a vital text because it forces us to confront the raw realities of power, but it also challenges us to think critically about how we can move beyond his vision. By recognizing the dangers of unchecked ambition and the pursuit of power for its own sake, we can work towards systems that resist the darker impulses Machiavelli so vividly described. In the end, the true challenge is not just understanding power, but finding ways to ensure it is wielded responsibly, ethically, and in service of humanity.